Hi, you guys. Isn't it beautiful out? I decided to read the story outside. I just love it outside. I love feeding the birds. I love watching the birds. Right now, if you guys watch, you can see migrating birds, all different kinds. And over the years, I have always wrote down the dates and the kind of birds that I see. So I got to sit out here just in case I see one fly through. Anyway, I hope you guys were all able to get outside and enjoy the nice weather this week because it was nice. All right, so if you are listening, we are going to read the story of Job, okay? And as second graders, you know this story, but we're going to learn a few more details about it, okay? Job, a man who loved God, that's for sure. In a country called Uz lived a very, very rich man, and his name was Job. His cattle were numbered by the thousands. He had 7 sons and 3 daughters, and he had many servants. Not only was Job rich, but he was godly. With all his heart, he wanted to please God. He built altars of earth or of stone and made offerings to God. He did this all the time, and he prayed, and he asked God to forgive his sins and to bless him. When Job's sons grew to manhood and had homes of their own, they loved to have great feasts with their family. The brothers took turns having everybody over for these great feasts, and their 3 sisters were always invited. We should take that as a lesson too. We have families, we should always love each other. On the morning after the feasts, Job always got up early and placed offerings on the altar for each of his children, because perhaps during that feast or even that week, perhaps they had sinned in their hearts during the feast, during any time, and Job just wanted to make sure that that was prayed on. God loved Job. He blessed him with health and happiness. He gave him many friends and great honors. But one day, Satan complained to God about Job. He said, "Job serves you just because you bless him. If he had lots of trouble, he'd turn away from you." God knew Satan was wrong, but God told Satan, well, go ahead and find out for yourself. And so Satan did. He sent Job lots of trouble. One day, while Job's children were feasting, a messenger came running to Job with bad news. The oxen were plowing and the asses were feeding beside them, but the Sabeans came and stole all the animals and killed all the servants. I am the only one that escaped. Before that servant was through telling Job about it, another servant brought more bad news. He said, "Lightning has killed all the sheep and the servants. I alone escaped to tell you." Then came another servant to Job, saying, The Chaldeans have taken the camels and killed the servants. I am the only one that got away. This is terrible. Before Job knew what was happening, a fourth messenger announced, "Your children were feasting, and a great wind blew. It blew down the house. They are all dead. Only I escaped to tell you." When Job heard all this bad news, he tore his clothes and fell on his face, but he did not turn away from God. Then Satan planned another trouble for Job. Satan thought, I will make life so miserable for Job that he will blame God for his suffering. Then he will want to die. In those days, back in those days when many people believed that their troubles were always sent from God as a punishment for their sins. That's not true. Satan thought Job, too, believed this. So Satan caused great, ugly sores to break out all over Job's body. These sores were so painful. So painful. Everybody looked upon Job with horror. They were just like, ugh. And even Job's wife wished he would die. Poor Job, that must have been terrible. I can't even imagine how bad that would be. 3 friends came to see Job. They had heard about his troubles and they wanted to comfort their friend. For several days they sat with Job, but they didn't say a single word to him. And when they saw how much he was suffering, they believed God was punishing Job for awful sins. They said God had sent this suffering because Job was trying to hide his wrongdoing from God. Poor Job again. Even his friends did not believe him. Then God spoke to Job out of a whirlwind, and Job bowed low on the ground and worshipped. He worshipped God. And God said, I am angry with your 3 friends, for they have not spoken rightly of me. And when Job heard this, he prayed for his friends. Think of the suffering Job has been through, the loss he has endured. He has lost his children. He has painful sores all over his body, yet he's praying for his friends. He cares for God's people so much. God knew Job was his servant, was a servant of his. He sent Job many blessings, and the sores went away. They just went away. Every year. Now, Job grew richer until he had twice as much as he had before the troubles all came. So that means he has all those cattle now. The thousands and thousands of cattle have turned into thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of cattle. Wow. And God gave him 7 more sons and 3 daughters. 3 more daughters. And you know what? His daughters were the most beautiful daughters in all of the country. And so, health, happiness, riches, and honor came again to Job because he was faithful and he was a servant to God. Even to this day, Job is remembered as a man who would not let any kind of trouble or sorrow turn him away from God. That is a great story for us all. And the message in this story is a message that we all need to learn from. See you guys tomorrow.